Hi there, Jen Roque here at stampcampwithjen.com. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the US, and welcome to this week's Facebook Live. Today we have a very special Facebook Live. I'm going to be doing my first Stamp Camp to Go of 2023. We are going to be featuring the Share A Milkshake Bundle. And we're going to make 3 cards. It's going to be lots of fun. I hope you're really excited about it. I will turn the camera around here in a minute. I'm not going to do the normal information about everything that's going on because we are making 3 cards and it's going to take a little bit longer. If you have any questions about anything that's currently going on or any product updates or anything like that, just reach out to me and I can share that with you. Hi everyone. Hi Jessica. Hi Kay. Thanks so much for joining me. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera around and we'll kind of get started because like I said, we got 3 cards to make today. It's going to be lots of fun. And I'll kind of explain a little bit more about what Stamp Camp to Go is as well. Hi Mom. Janine is my mom. Here, let me switch this around real quick here. I'm always afraid I'm going to turn it off and I'm going to accidentally stop the video. Hi, Jalen. Thanks so much for joining me today. My little nephew up in Maryland. He loves watching my little videos. Alrighty. So, Stamp Camp to Go, what is it? So each month I'm going to feature a different bundle from one of the current catalogs. The bundle today is from the mini catalog here. And it is on page 12, the Share A Milkshake Bundle. So this bundle here is what we're going to be using today for our 3 cards, okay? So each month I will have a different bundle that I'm going to use, and I will make 3 projects. This month I made cards, and I might do one that's just 3D projects in the future, but for the most part I'm going to stick with cards because that seems to be a little more popular. What it is I will announce it each month. If you're a newsletter subscriber, you'll get a heads up first. This month, I was still kind of figuring everything out, so they didn't get the sneak peek before everybody else, so I apologize. But if you sign up for my newsletter, you'll be one of the first to know the new details each month for Stamp Camp to Go. So what you'll do each month is I will have a different host code, and you can either place a $40 order using that host code and get these kits for free, or you can reach out to me and purchase them directly. They'll be $15, or it'll be $20 if it's shipped, $15 if you can pick it up in person. If you're a team member of mine, you get a $5 discount. So that's just another perk of being on my team. But the kits have everything you need. It has as much as I can die cut and measure out, and it has the envelopes, the little card liners, all that stuff in it. There are a few things that if you need to stamp it and then die cut it, I don't do that for you because according to Stampin' Up! Policy, we can't stamp and send images, like sell images basically. But I will include the paper that you'll need for your stamping. So everything's included. You just need the supplies for this class. So speaking of which, for today, if you did get a kit, you will need, before you start, like I said, you'll need the Share A Milkshake Bundle. So you'll need the stamp set and the dies. I did most of the die cutting, but there is a little bit of die cutting you'll need. We're going to use this little die here. It's like a little ice cream cup. This teeny tiny little die, it's kind of like an ice cream topping. You'll need the little cherry die, and I think that's it. Everything else I die cut for you. This is a super cute bundle. I had a lot of fun making these cards. I've seen so many awesome projects with these, with this bundle, and I think you guys are really gonna like it. So you need this bundle. You need your kits if you purchase them before you get started. You'll need fresh freesia ink, sweet sorbet ink, and mint macaron ink, okay? And then I highly recommend this Stampin' Pierce mat through Stampin' Up. It's $5. And it's like a foam mat. But when you have photopolymer stamps, which is what these are, sometimes, especially with the solid stamps, it's hard to get like a solid image out of this. So you will need this mat to kind of stamp on, and then a scrap piece of paper. Oh, and I forgot, you do need smoky slate ink as well. I think I forgot to put that on the supply list. I'll have to update that. So we do need smoky slate ink as well. So let me just lay these out so you can kind of, if you're watching the replay, you can see those and kind of stop seeing smoky slate, fresh freesia, sweet sorbet, and mint macaron this month for these cards, okay? And then if you don't have the Stampin' Pierce mat, you should be able to use the silicone mat if you have that. You just need something that's going to kind of give you a little bit of give when you stamp on it, to help with that, getting that crisp image from your photopolymer stamps, okay? And then you will also need your handy dandy die cutting machine and plates, okay? So I have the mini Stampin' Cut Emboss machine. I ordered the blue one and I thought I was supposed to be getting it today, and I was really excited because I wanted to be able to play with it on camera for you guys, but I just checked the tracking and I guess it's coming tomorrow. So I'm not going to be able to play with it on here, but that's all right. I'll play with it next time. And I've heard a lot of people say that the new one cuts better, so I kind of wanted to play with it and see. I'll have to let you guys know. All right, so we've got all that. One other thing I would recommend, and you don't have to do this, but I'm gonna grab, you can grab like a paper plate or a tray or something. I'm using my embossing additions tray just to kind of keep all my little die cut pieces where I can see them and where I don't lose them, because that has a tendency to happen. You have light pieces and they get kind of lost on your work surface. So I'm going to use this tray to keep my little pieces together, because especially for one of these cards, there's a lot of little pieces. So let's show you what we're going to be making today. So we're going to do this card first. This is Life is Sweeter with You, and this is the big one that we're going to need that either Stampin' Pierce mat or the silicone mat for. And then I do provide the little card liners to go inside it too. This one, I don't know, this one might be my favorite. I love this one. I showed this one to my husband and he was like, what do flowers have to do with ice cream? I was like, I don't know, it's just cute. Just appease me and go with it, okay? But I really like how this one turned out. This paper is from that Country Floral Lane Designer Series paper pack. And I just thought it was really cute. And then this one's really cool. So this one is a little interactive card that pops up, and you can put a little gift card down there. And I meant to grab one before I sat down. Of course, I forgot. I'll have to grab one real quick. But you can put a little gift card here and make this like a little gift card holder to give to somebody. Isn't that so cool? He is very literal. You're right, Mom. If it doesn't make sense, then I don't know. Okay, but I do have one Share A Milkshake kit left, ready to go. So if you want to purchase one, I do have one still up for grabs. Just reach out to me, send me an email at jen@stampcampwithjen.com and let me know that you want to purchase them. Like I said, they're $20, which is $15 for the card kits and then $5 for USPS first class shipping. And it comes in like a hard cardboard mailer, so you don't have to worry about it getting bent in shipping, okay? Hi, Linda. Hi, Diana. Hi, Melinda. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. The host code is closed for this class, so you won't be able to use the host code and make an order and purchase the kits, okay? Just want to put that out there. All right. So I'm going to put this one to the side, and we're going to use the other one. So this is what you get in the kits. So you can kind of get a preview of it and decide if you want to do it maybe next month or in a future month. So in the kits, I always put like a thank you note that tells you when we're going to go live. And if you can't join us live, I always am going to post the replay on my YouTube channel so that you can go back and watch it and make your kits. Like maybe you don't get your kits in time and or your products in time when we do the class, you can always go back and it'll be on my YouTube channel and you can go back and watch and make the kits whenever you're ready, okay? So we are gonna grab which one are we gonna do first? We're gonna do the one with the green or the mint macaron card base. So this is the one we're gonna do first, okay? And it's not a ton of pieces. And all of the measurements will be in the PDF tutorials. I have each card listed with a PDF tutorial for each one, and you'll have all the measurements so you can go back and recreate them if you would like. And you will see there is like a faint score line. I always try to score my card bases for you guys just to make it a little bit easier. So we're gonna fold that card base in half and use our bone folder to burnish or crease that card base here. Okay, and now in your kit you have a scalloped rectangle. This is from the Scalloped Contours dies. We have a piece of basic white. This is our little sentiment strip. This is a piece from the Country Floral, or the Country Gingham, excuse me. This is from the Country Gingham Designer Series paper pack here. And then this white piece is your card liner. So go ahead, and I'm gonna go ahead and put my card liner in first. So it's all ready to go. I usually do that last, but then sometimes I forget. So I'd rather just do it now so I don't forget it. So you just center it on the inside of your card. Right there. And then we're gonna take that gingham piece and we're just gonna line it up on the bottom of our card base so that there's an even border all the way around, okay? And if I'm going too fast for you guys, just let me know and I'll slow down a little bit. I try to make these pretty quick and easy so you have some cards ready to go, have them on hand, and then you can kind of play with some of the different products and decide if you want to order more later. It's always fun to get like a sampling of things and decide if that's what you want. Okay, so let's go ahead and do our sentiment. We are going to use which one does it say? Life is sweeter with you. Okay, I'm gonna get my little block out. Okay. And for this one, we need the Sweet Sorbet ink. Now, if you have a hard time opening these, I've heard people say you can take your fingers and kind of squeeze the sides, and that'll help kind of open it as well because they are very tight. So you can try that little tip as well. Okay, I'm gonna get a little scrap piece of paper. I have some grid paper here we can use. I like to stamp off on it first on my grid paper just to see if it's how I want it to be. Sometimes I get little dog hairs and stuff in my, oh, that didn't come out how I wanted it. Let's try that one more time. Perfect. Oh, I love this, so cute. Okay, so we're gonna stamp our sentiment on the right edge here of our card. Just like this. Nice even pressure, good. Close our little ink pad back up. Now for this one, we're actually gonna center it between that gingham paper, and you're just gonna put it maybe about 1/2 inch over that gingham paper. Shouldn't you be stamping on your pad? Oh, not for the sentiment. We're more worried about stamping on the pad for the ice cream image. That's the big one. I mean, you can do it for the sentiment, of course, but I'm more worried about doing it for my ice cream, and I'll show you why. So yeah, just go down maybe 1/2 inch or so, center it between the left and the right of that gingham designer series paper, and then that way when we go put our rectangle on, it'll kind of cover up that edge, and now our sentiment is centered exactly where we want it right there. Okay, so now, good point, Mom. Now we're gonna grab our Stampin' Pierce mat here. And I'm gonna take a piece, I'm just gonna take my grid paper and kind of fold it in half. Actually, I'll just cover it here. So right here is where I want it. You can just take a piece of scrap paper that's as big as your Stampin' Pierce mat so you don't, actually let's do that. Let's fold it down a little bit so we don't accidentally stamp off of our mat, because that would kind of defeat the purpose, right? So I just folded it to fit exactly in my little Pierce mat there, so I don't have to worry about it going anywhere. Okay, so now we want to get, so you'll notice there are these two little ice cream glass pieces. So this makes like a little shadow, and then this is the full ice cream. So we're gonna do the little shadow piece first. That's what we're gonna grab first. It has like the little squigglies on the inside. That's a technical term, by the way. Little squigglies. I'm just gonna use that same Stampin' block I was using before. Okay. So now we need our Smoky Slate ink. Okay, I'm just gonna open that up. And I'm gonna ink up that glass, and I'm gonna stamp it just to make sure, well, that's like how I wanted it, but I didn't put enough pressure on it. So make sure you apply even pressure. So the bottom of our glass, we're gonna line up with this little stitching on the bottom of this rectangle here. Just like that. I'm gonna apply even pressure. Just like that, okay? Now we can put that up, and now we're gonna take the solid glass here. I'm just kind of throwing these in my stamp case. I'll organize them later. The solid case, we are gonna stamp off, and then we're gonna stamp it on over that shadow image. So I'm just inking this up really well. And then we're gonna stamp off. Make sure you have a good crisp image when you stamp off. And I have a dog hair on mine. See those photopolymer stamps? They pick up everything. So I'm gonna try that again, because I don't want that little squiggle in my image there. So I'm gonna stamp off, much better. So now we're just gonna line that up over the previous image, over that shadow, lining it up with the right edge and that top of the cup. I'm just gonna press down. Ooh. And it's gonna stick to my paper. And voila, now we've created that little glass image. So, yep, Oscar's fur is everywhere. My Australian Shepherd, his fur is all over the place. So it's easier to do the shadow piece first and then line it up with the lighter ink over the darker ink. If you try to do the lighter one, it just doesn't work as well. So that's my tip for this, is to do that little shadow of the glass first and then do your full glass image after that, okay? So now we're gonna need this piece here. It's like foam over, oops, you can't see that very well. This piece here, it's like foam over your glass. We're gonna put that on a block. I'm gonna grab a different block here. And we're gonna close up our Smoky Slate. We don't need that anymore. Now we're gonna need mint macaron. Okay. And we're gonna use mint macaron for our little, it's like ice cream scoop, or it could be Cool Whip, whatever. Again, I'm gonna do a test to make sure my dog's fur isn't on there. It looks good. So we are just going to stamp this right over the top of the glass. So what I'm doing is I am taking this little piece, like the section that is most inward, I guess, and I'm lining that up along the glass, if that makes sense. And now it looks like I have a whole bunch of fur on my stamp. All right, let's try this again. All right, So we're just going to line that up, and I'll show you in a second what I mean once I stamp this. So you can kind of see there's like a little straight piece in the middle there. And that's what this little like divot in here is what we're lining up along that top edge of the glass. And that makes it look like it's coming over the glass there. Okay. Now we're gonna grab our sweet sorbet. We're done with that mint macaron. We're gonna grab our sweet sorbet, and we can put this little foam piece away, foam stamp. Now we're gonna grab our cherry, and we're gonna stamp that in the sweet sorbet. And we're gonna stamp that right in the center where that little hump is. I'm gonna stamp right there. Okay. And then we're gonna do a little straw, also with the sweet sorbet. So first, before we do that, you should have in your packet, and if I forgot, where's mine actually? It should be in here. Didn't come out. Yep. So if it didn't come out with your pieces, it's probably still in your envelope. These little pieces have a tendency to do that. So I did die cut this little die that goes with the ice cream or the Cool Whip or whatever. And that is because we want to do a little bit of masking for our straw. So to do that, you want to actually, you don't want to completely cover up that mint macaron. You want to move it to the left just a hair. And then I'm going to take a little piece of masking tape or Post-it tape or whatever, and I'm just going to tape this down so it stays in place. And you'll see why in just a second, because if you put it right up against that little, right up against the edge, the straw won't stamp all the way down. So that's why we did it that way. So first we want to grab the solid straw image, and we're just gonna put that down, and we're gonna stamp off in the sweet sorbet. And then where this little indent is right here, we're gonna stamp our straw right over that. And that should come out pretty good right up against that scooped ice cream. And then we're gonna go in with a striped straw and do full ink. So we're just gonna ink it up. We're not gonna stamp off this time. And we're gonna line up that striped straw and stamp right over it, just like that. It might be a little off. Mine's a little off, but that's okay. And that is how you make that little ice cream for your card front there. So now we're done with the sweet sorbet. Move that away here. And we can move our Stampin' Pierce mat over. And now we're just gonna come in here and we're gonna take some Stampin' Dimensionals and put them on the back of our rectangle. And our card is pretty much done. Take a bunch of these. Excuse me. Oops. And maybe one more. I like lots of dimensionals on my cards. So not too bad. There's a little bit of stamping, some Stampin' tricks, hopefully that helped with this bundle, with the photopolymer too, especially. Let's see here. Come on. There we go. The Stamp-A-Ratus would be great. It just has a lot of pieces though. So I personally don't like to fidget with the Stamp-A-Ratus with something that has a bunch of pieces. But you could definitely do that with the straw for sure. And that's it. So we just lined that up over our little sentiment strip, and then you've got the little gingham peeking through, and that's our first card. How fun is that? And life is sweeter with you. That could be Valentine's, just saying hello, whatever. Lots of good uses for that. So there's our first card. I'm gonna tuck that in my envelope so we know it's done. Now we're gonna move on to our little flower ice cream cone card here. So if you have your kit, grab your petal pink or like the peachy colored one. And in your kit, I believe this is all the pieces. No, there's more in here. See, if you can't find your pieces, they're probably stuck in your envelope. And that's true with my stamp camp classes too. Everybody knows that it's probably stuck in their envelope. So this is what you should have in your kit. If you purchased a kit with me, you should have your petal pink card base, this paper from the Country Floral Lane Designer Series paper, another piece from the Country Gingham Designer Series paper. This white piece is your card liner. This little bannered piece is where we're gonna put our sentiment on. And then you have a soft suede ice cream cone and then 2 die cut pieces for your ice cream. I have a basic white and a mint macaron, okay? So like with the other card, let's go ahead and again, it should be scored in the middle. You can just fold it over and burnish it with your bone folder. And then I'm gonna put my card liner in first so I don't forget. And then that way when the front's done, we know the whole card is ready to go. Okay, I'm gonna open this up. And then also, so I'm not tempted to stamp on this or do something with it, thinking it's not part of the card. All right, so that's the inside there. So now we're just gonna take this piece and we're just gonna center it right over the front. I love this paper so much. I think I bought 2 packs already of it. We used it on a card in stamp camp last week. That was a lot of fun. It was a good Valentine's / love card. It's really pretty paper. I really like it. I'll probably get some more, to be honest. All right, so we just centered that on our card front, just like that. And now we're gonna take this gingham piece and we're actually gonna adhere it. It's gonna line up on the top and the bottom edge of the card, about 3/4 inch from the edge over here, okay? So I'm just gonna take, I like using Stampin' Seal Plus. It's got a stronger bond to it. And being in the humidity in Florida, I'm always worried about stuff coming undone with the humidity. So I like using that stronger adhesive on my cards just to be safe. Okay, so there's that front piece there. So now we're gonna take this little bannered sentiment strip and we're gonna grab our mint macaron ink once again. And we are going to use the words Celebrate from our stamp kit. And let's see. I'm just going to ink that up in the mint macaron and then I'm just gonna center it on my banner piece here. I love the font on this. Font is always what gets me with stamp sets. If I think the font is really cute, I'm almost always gonna order it. Okay, so we're gonna put this on our card front over that gingham piece, probably about 1/2 inch or so from that bottom edge, and we're gonna use some Stampin' Dimensionals for that. Okay. Just pop that up right about there. Very cute. Okay, so now for our ice cream cone, we're gonna take our ice cream cone here. You'll notice there's 2 little score lines on it where you can kind of fold it over. You don't need to burnish it with your bone folder. But if you're looking at it where the waffle is on the back side, we're gonna take the right and fold it over, and then the left edge is gonna come over, and I'm gonna use some liquid glue to kind of close that waffle cone. You know, we lived in Korea for a while, and Korean food is so delicious, and they have these snacks. They're called waffle butter waffle cookies, and I absolutely love them. And when I was making this, it kind of makes me crave them. They're like, they look like little waffle discs basically, and they're so buttery and sweet and delicious, and you get them, they come in like a gold packaging. And that was like one of my favorite little sweets. And Ethan used to love them. My son, Ethan, he used to love those when he was a kid. And I'm always on the hunt for those. You can get like a big pack of them sometimes in the Korean grocery stores. They're so good. Okay, so now for our ice cream, we're gonna glue I mean, you could do it either way. I just put the white on top of the mint macaron, but if you wanted to switch it, you definitely could. So we're just, again, gonna take a little bit of liquid glue on the top little humps over here. And we're going to adhere those to each other. More like that. Kind of just press it down with our fingers. So now for our little ice cream cone here, we're actually going to kind of use the tip of that cone and center it in the middle of the card. I know those waffle cookies are the best, Case. Those are my favorite. There's a Korean market in Orlando that I keep wanting to go down to. I might check that out within the next week or so and see if I can find some and hoard them and get a couple boxes of them. And then for our little ice cream, we're gonna put that over the cone, and I'm gonna use a couple of dimensionals on the top up here. And actually, I'm gonna take my dimensionals and just stick them right inside above where that waffle cone front crosses over, and that's just enough of a push to kind of make it all level against that waffle cone. So you just put those two dimensionals right there on that top part of the waffle cone. Take the backing off, and then I'm just gonna put the ice cream right on those dimensionals, and that card is done. That's it. I have a little bit of glue. I'll probably take my adhesive eraser if I can find it. Oh, here it is. You can get these at local craft stores, but it just helps, especially when you use liquid glue. If you get it like on your fingers and it transfers to your card, it'll pull off that extra adhesive. All right. So that one was probably the quickest and easiest ones out of the group. What are the slits? Oh, these little slits in the ice cream, you can die cut this little spoon, and you can put like a little spoon in the little slits, or you can do a straw and you can do the same thing so it looks like a straw is coming out of the ice cream slits there. Good question. All right, so there's card number 2. And for our last, the big shebang here, this one is so much fun. This is so cool. So I actually got this idea from another demonstrator. It's not an original idea, and I think she even got it from like a card swap somebody sent her. So I'm not sure where it originally comes from, but I kind of redesigned her version because I wanted you to be able to see more designer series paper than her version had. So I made it a little bigger. I got it from Sue Campfield. Is where I saw it, and hers, like I said, there was just a little bit of designer series paper peeking out, so I just made the designer series paper bigger. But we're gonna make this one next, and it's not too complicated. I just thought it was really fun and really cool, so I really wanted to include that in my card class this month. So this is where that tray or paper plate is gonna come in handy for all your little pieces. So this little ice cream cup that I cut is from the silver foil specialty pack. And then I took a piece of soft suede and used the Timber 3D embossing folder, and I embossed it, and then just cut little slits of paper for this to make it look like the ice cream sitting on a desk. Yeah, I guess you could put the cherry on there. That's true. And that little ice cream slit. And then you're gonna have 1, 2 pieces, and then of sweet sorbet, and then this is the card base, but we'll put those little pieces aside. And then you're gonna have these 2 pieces of white. This more narrow rectangular piece is for your card front, and then this piece is for, oh no, sorry. This piece is for a card front. The more rectangular piece is for the inside of the card for the sentiment, okay? And then these pieces all go together on the front like that, okay? And then you should also have this little strip that I included in there that says scrap piece for stamping. You'll need this for stamping, okay? But I'm gonna keep all my little pieces in my tray here for right now. So we're gonna take this piece and just center it on our sweet sorbet. So this is not a full card base. It's just, you know, there's nothing to open. It's just a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch piece of cardstock. And then we're gonna center our basic white. Now this is a piece of Country Gingham Designer Series paper, and I just took a stitched rectangle die, the long and skinny one, and I just kind of centered it in the middle. I eyeballed it. I didn't measure it. I know it's gonna drive some people nuts, but you just kind of eyeball where the center is and die cut that stitched rectangle out of the center there, okay? And then we're gonna center this over the front with dimensionals. Now, I will say, because you're gonna have this little pulley piece and it is gonna go down in the center, only put dimensionals on the top and the sides. Don't block the opening for the center here. So what I'm gonna do to make that easy to not forget, I'm gonna flip it over to my left here. And I'm just gonna put dimensionals all around so I don't forget that little tip. But I like to put a lot of dimensionals on there because I don't want it like floppy, if that makes sense. I want it pretty flat. So I will put one like right here and right there, but that should still have enough room in the center for it to go up and down, okay? So just remove these. I'm trying to think, can I put this on? Yeah, I can put this on now. I made this card a little while ago, so I'm trying to remember the steps for it, and I'm pretty sure this is going to work just fine. It's been a couple weeks since I've assembled it. All right, so like I said, that opening here where our little pulley piece is gonna be towards the bottom, and we're just gonna center that over our basic white piece, just like that, okay? So we'll kind of put that to the side, and let's go ahead and do our little die cutting and stamping before we go and do any more assembly. So grab your little piece that says scrap piece for stamping. I'm gonna pull that off. And we're gonna take the little ice cream foamy piece here. And I'm just gonna grab a block. All right, so we need to do one in fresh freesia. Right here. So I'm just gonna stamp that one and then clean off my block. And now we need to do one in mint macaron. Oh, thanks. I thought the silver dish was a nice touch, something different. And I didn't use any bling or dimensionals or anything, so I thought having that bling from the silver would be nice. And then we're gonna do a sweet sorbet one as well. And then we need to stamp a cherry in sweet sorbet. Okay. And then we'll do a little die cutting. And I was watching a video before I came on here trying to figure out some tips with die cutting with this little machine, because we used it in my stamp camp classes, and boy, if we didn't have a heck of a time trying to get the plates to go through. And I've used it a bunch of times, but I was even helping people, and I was struggling getting the plates to go through. So I found a couple of tips, and we'll try them out here and see if those help. So we'll close this ink pad up for now, and let's get our die cutting machine out. So one of the things that's was in the video I watched was, if you notice that your machine kind of moves around a lot, it could be that you have a bunch of dust, which mine does look like that. on the bottom of these little rubber feet here. So you just kind of wipe off those little rubber feet, and that'll help a little bit as well. So we're gonna open this up, and I have my plates. I had them, they're buried under my cards over here. So we need our number 1 plate, a number 2 plate, and we're gonna put our dies in here, okay? And you can use some Post-it notes or washi tape or whatever to keep the dies in place, whatever works for you. But I'm gonna do my little cherry die. This is where you need your dies for this card here. And then, like I said, we're just gonna use this little itty bitty piece for like an ice cream topping. So you just wanna cut white for that. And then we're gonna use this little die to die cut our stamped ice creams here. So we'll just take this one up here, I guess. Okay, so the tip that I got from that video as far as getting the plates to go through was, I'll try to do this without washi tape, wish me luck, to stagger your plates. So to make it so the edges of the plates are staggered so that it'll give the machine something to grab onto. So we'll just kind of push this in, and you'll notice the arm kind of moves as it catches. Oh, and my cherry's off. So I'm glad I noticed that before. I have some tape here that I'll use to hold it in place. I don't want that to be all messed up and have to stamp it again here. So I'm gonna take my, oh, this thing's so tiny. There we go. All right. I think this one will be okay because it's a little bigger. There we go. All right, so we staggered those plates to give it something to, nope, that's moving too. So I'll grab my tape for this one just to make sure. There we go. It's not gonna go anywhere. All right, so let's get that to go through. Yep. And then you just take your hand and kind of push down, give even pressure on the top of your machine, and that'll kind of help too. So now I have my little cherry, should have die cut. Yeah, perfect. So I'm gonna put that in my tray so I don't lose it. And my mint macaron piece, die cut just fine. So I'm gonna put that with my other pieces as well. And then this piece actually didn't die cut because my plates weren't fully underneath it. So I'm gonna move that over a little bit. But now we don't need our cherry die cut. We can put that away, put it back on your magnetic plate or whatever you use. And now I'm gonna do the fresh freesia ice cream. You can do these in any order you like. Okay, and like I said, staggering the plates seems to kind of help. So you just want to stagger them so that the edges, where did that go? Oh, there it is. The edges are just kind of not even with each other. So they're just kind of staggered a little bit like that. Okay. So let's run that through again. Oh, it should work. Nope, that's not working. Put the bottom two. Let's try that. Oh my goodness. Nope. Okay, guys. What's going on with this thing here? Let's try that again. There we go. That starts to grab it. Okay. So that's the trick. It seems like they have to be really, really staggered, like not even just a little bit. Like you got to have half an inch at least. So there's a little ice cream topping piece we'll put with our other pieces in the tray. I could put that little die away. Hi, Pam. Thanks so much for joining me. And don't worry if you missed the other cards, you'll be able to watch the replay later after this video's done on Facebook, or you'll be able to watch the replay on my YouTube channel starting tomorrow morning. Okay, so we're just gonna tape that up. Okay, so let's try this again. So see, these are dramatically staggered. Let's push these in. And that seems to be the trick. Like they have to really be staggered. That seems to help it grab. Okay, good to know. Because I think some of them, when I was doing it in class, they weren't staggered as much and we were still struggling. So I think that's a little trick. Is you really got to have it like, you know, staggered like that. Not just a little bit. You really got to have some space in between those plates. Now, if they do start to warp, like mine do after a while, you can flip them over. You can switch the top and the bottom plate, whatever you need to do to keep them kind of flat, okay? Because when they bow up, your dies will kind of move around and slide, and that can be frustrating as well. So just some little tips for that machine that might help you out. Okay, so now we're done with that little white piece there. So now let's put this card front here together. So like I said, the bigger squarish piece, we're gonna put that on, it doesn't look right. Oh goodness, did I cut something wrong? Looks like it might be a little off here. Oh, this piece is too big. Oh, what was I doing? I had to cut that down just a scotch. It's supposed to be 3 3/4, but I have it at 4 inches for some reason. Well, I'm glad it was too big than too small, right? You can always take away. You can't add on. All right. There we go. Those should fit perfectly there, just like that. So first, we will adhere this down to our sweet sorbet piece and just center it. I like the sweet sorbet. I've been using this a lot lately with Valentine's, and I don't know, it's kind of like Poppy Parade, but it's a little less in your face. It's not as bright, I guess. It's more of like a pinkish color. All right, so with our little soft suede table piece, we're just gonna glue that down with some liquid glue. Just put a light layer of liquid glue on there. And we'll just line this up with the bottom edge of that basic white piece, just like that. Stick that down, okay? So now we have our little ice cream cup here, and then our other little die cut pieces. And we're just gonna use liquid glue for all of those. So I did the mint macaron first and just kind of lined it up at the bottom level with the top of the ice cream cup. And then I started kind of putting these on sideways, like at an angle. So I put the sweet sorbet piece on, and then that fresh freesia piece, and then we'll put our little ice cream topping on, and then the cherry on top of that. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue that ice cream bowl down first, and just kind of have it overlapping that wood table just a little bit, so it looks like it's sitting on the table. And then we'll do our mint macaron, and you could mix these up however you want. It doesn't really matter, but that's just what I did. Oh, thank you so much, Pam. I appreciate it. So there's that mint macaron, and then we'll do the sweet sorbet scoop. Over the top at kind of an angle there. Just like that. And then we'll do the fresh freesia over the top of that. And like I said, I'm just using liquid glue here. It's probably the easiest way. And we'll just kind of make it look like our scoops are sliding off the top there. Just missing gummy bears, I know. What is it with kids? And they have the most, what I think, disgusting combinations. They always want like Superman ice cream with gummy bears and all this sweet, fruity stuff. Ugh. I'm sure I did at some point too, but all right, so now we're gonna just put our little ice cream topping right over that fresh freesia. And you kind of line up the little hump of the ice cream topping with the fresh freesia scoop there. And then we're just gonna take our cherry and we're gonna put a little bit of liquid glue on the bottom of the cherry here. And we're just gonna stick that to the top of our ice cream topping. Kind of put it, whatever works for you at the side there. So there's our little ice cream sundae. And then we're gonna stamp the cherry on top right to the right of that. So we've used almost all of the stamps in here in this set. I've done quite a bit of stamping with this class, which is good. So we're gonna get the cherry on top. And we're gonna use our sweet sorbet. Now, if you're worried about maybe messing up the wording when you stamp, and hopefully I won't do that. I usually like to stamp my sentiment first before I glue everything on. By all means, do that first before you start adhering everything. If that's something you're worried about, because you can always flip the piece of paper over if you need to. But in this little open space here, the cherry on top. Isn't that so cute? Hi, Elise. Thanks so much for joining us. All right, so that's our little card front piece that we made. So now I'm going to show you how to make the little slider to make it interactive, okay? So you have this piece, it's 2 by 6, and we scored it at 2 inches and 2.5 inches. So we can fold those pieces over and burnish with your bone folder, okay? Now we're gonna take on this little 1/2 inch piece here, we're gonna take a piece of tear and tape and stick that down. I always have a heck of a time finding, there it is, finding the end of the tear and tape. All right, so where this little 1/2 inch piece is, we're just gonna put a piece of tear and tape right in the middle. It might help you like it did with me to kind of fold it over on one of those score lines so you can see where exactly it is. Okay, so now for this piece here, we're gonna take the backing off, and you're gonna take this little stamped piece that we made and we're gonna flip it over. You're gonna take this backing off and you're gonna line it up along that top center of that piece. So if you look at it like this is the front, you're gonna flip it over, and where this tear and tape is, you're gonna line it up right along that top center edge right there, okay? So let's go ahead and do that. I'd like to get, if I can find it, my little spatula end of my take your pick tool, and that makes it really easy to remove that tear and tape backing. Okay, so like I said, just line that up along, make sure it's the top and not the bottom, the top center here. We're just gonna line that up just like that, okay? So there's the first part. Now, with it, you're looking at it right side up. You're gonna flip this up and you're gonna flip this little tab up with it, and you're gonna put tear and tape right on the back here, okay? So just on that top edge of that little flap here, okay? So now what we need to do is we're gonna take this long piece, and this is actually gonna go in that little opening, and that's why I told you don't put dimensionals where this can slide through. And you're gonna line this up so that the bottom edge of that flap lines up along the bottom edge of this card. And then that will center this whole thing. Isn't that genius? I don't know who came up with this. Like I said, I don't know exactly whose original idea this was, but this is so freaking cool. I had to make this. So, like I said, this is the longer edge here. You're gonna slide that through your rectangle piece. we're going to line that up with that bottom edge here. We're going to remove our tear and tape backing with our little spatula end here. And now keep that bottom edge lined up with the card, and then you're just going to flip this straight down and press. Okay. Now, when you pull this little piece, voila, isn't that so cool? And it's really not that difficult once you know the little tricks on how to put it together. Oh, so cool. So now this little piece is where we're gonna put that underneath that little flap so that we have some place to write happy birthday, I love you, whatever you're gonna need this for. And then I'm gonna grab, I think I have a gift card around here real quick. I'm gonna try to grab one so I can show you what it would look like with the gift card. I can just play with this for hours. So I will say, I do kind of understand why Sue Cantfield kind of left less designer series paper, because she made like a little pull tab with ribbon and stuff like that. But I think it's kind of self-explanatory to just pull. I don't think you need to do all that. And I really like having the extra designer series paper. So that's why I left it the way I did. Chick-fil-A gift card just hanging out in my craft room, no big deal. So you can put the little gift card either on here if you wanted to do that instead of your little sentiment. You could just put the gift card there on the back side, or maybe you could put it there. It's not really going to move because this piece in the back is what's moving. It would be better to put it here and maybe just write something there, I don't know, or just put a piece on the back and make your sentiment on the back here. So either way, but I think this is probably where the gift card is supposed to go. It's right there. But I just think that's so cool. I love it. And like I said, you could put, you know, whatever sentiment on there you need, and now you have a little interactive gift card holder. So that is our third card. And we are officially done with the first Stamp Camp to Go of 2023. So we made all these fun cards today, these three cards. And I will have another Stamp Camp to Go in February. So like I said, if you haven't yet, please subscribe to my newsletter and you'll be the first to know all the details for the Stamp Camp to Go in February. I'll come up with 3 projects and it'll be the same deal. You make a $40 purchase in a certain date range using my host code, and you can get the kits for free, or you'll be able to reach out to me directly and purchase the kits. They'll be $15 plus $5 first class shipping, so $20 total. And everything that you need will be in the kits, and they come in a little hard cardboard mailer, so you don't have to worry about anything getting bent in the mail as it sends. And don't forget also, I do still have 1 kit up for grabs for this class that we just made. So if you would like to purchase this kit, please reach out to me at jen@stampcampwithjen.com and you can purchase this kit directly for me, okay? All right, guys. Well, I really would love to know what your favorite card of the night was. Please let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to give me a thumbs up or a little heart if you're watching me from YouTube or Facebook, okay? All right, guys. Well, I won't be live next week. I'm going to be out of town for a baby shower, but I will make sure to post a fun card project for you guys to see, okay? All right, guys. Oh, you like this one? That's my favorite too, Pam. I love it. This one's my favorite because it's interactive and it's cool, but this one I think is the prettiest one. I like this one too, but this is the prettiest one in my opinion. So great minds think alike, Pam. All right, guys. Well, if you need anything at all, please reach out to me. And in the meantime, be safe and happy stamping. Bye-bye.